Hello students, welcome back. Today we'll continue with application of Gauss law. Okay, in our last video we have seen the first application of Gauss law, right? That was electric field due to long uniformly charged straight wire. Okay, today we'll see the other application. Okay, so the first one is the first application is electric field due to infinite size uniform plane, uniformly charged plane. Okay, so electric field due to infinite size uniformly charged plane. Okay, so we'll find out the electric field due to infinite sized uniformly charged plane. So for that, what we need to do, we should take an infinite sized plane. So let's take a very large plane. Okay, and let it be uniformly charged. Okay, let the surface charge density equal to sigma. That means that if you are taking a unit charge, okay, if you are taking a unit charge, right, sorry, unit area, right, then the amount of charge will be sigma. So sigma will be equal to Q by A. Okay, the total charge per unit area. Okay, so now let's find out the electric field at this point P. I want to find out the electric field at point P. So what I will do, I will take a cylindrical surface, right? I will take a cylindrical surface, right? That is passing through this plane. Clear? So you need to understand that if I am taking this as a plane, okay, then the cylinder is passing through this surface in this way. Okay, so I have taken a planar surface and this I have taken a cylindrical Gaussian surface. Okay, so let's this area be A. So this will be also A and this will be also A. I am taking this area equal to A. Clear? Now, if I take there is one curved surface and these are the two circular surface. Okay, so these are the three surfaces. But when I see if this is a planar surface, electric field away in this way. So electric field direction will be this way. So when I take at any this surface, the electric field will be in this direction and the area will be in this direction. So the angle theta will be equal to 90. So that implies flux will be equal to 0. Okay. So the total amount of flux passing through the curved surface that is equal to 0. But at this place, electric field will be in this direction and area A is also in that direction. So in this case, theta is equal to 0 degree. Okay, so the total flux will be equal to electric field E into area. Clear? So now how much area we will take? This area plus this area. So this will be E into 2A. The flux will be equal to E into 2A. Okay. But according to Gauss law, According to Gauss law, this is equal to q by epsilon 0. Let me this as 1. Q by epsilon 0. And what is q? If the surface charge density is sigma, then q will be equal to sigma into a. Epsilon 0. So this is 2. Clear? So from 1 and 2, clear? I can write down E into 2A equal to sigma A by, sorry, epsilon 0. So A gets cancelled, so the electric field will be equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 0. Okay, so electric field due to uniformly charged plane is E equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 0. Clear? I'm repeating this topic. Okay, what we had done, we had taken an infinite size plane. To find out the electric field at any point, I have selected a Gaussian cylindrical surface. Clear? So this is Gaussian cylindrical surface, and this area I have taken it as A. So now there are three surfaces. If I take this as a cylinder, one this surface, one this surface, and another the curved surface. So when I take the curved surface, the angle between the area vector, okay, at this the area vector is in this direction, at this it is in this direction, the bottom it's in this direction, and electric field is in this direction, right? On this side it is in this direction, on this side it is in this direction. So everywhere on the curved surface, the angle between the area and electric field is zero. Sorry, 90 degree, right? So the flux will be equal to zero because EA cos 90 is zero. But on these two surfaces, right? The electric field and the area vector both are having same direction. So theta is equal to 0 degree. So electric field will be EA cos 0 and the value of cos 0 is 1. So it's E into the total area. One this area, another this area. So E into 2A. Okay. So this is total. The total flux through this EA, flux through this EA, this 0. So E into 2A. Okay. But according to Gauss law, we had studied earlier that flux is equal to Q by epsilon 0. Right? And we had taken that the surface charge density as sigma. So Q is equal to sigma A, right? So comparing these two equations, finally we get E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 0. Okay, so this is the second application of Gauss law. Clear? So just go through this topic. Okay, now as we have derived that electric field due to infinite size plane, that is sigma by 2 epsilon 0. Okay, now we are taking various cases. Okay, now see, what's her distance? We are taking two plates. Okay, on one plate there is positive charge, and another plate also there is positive charge. Let's say the charge here is sigma 1 and here is sigma 2. Clear? So now we know that the electric field, what was the formula? For electric field, E was equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 0. See, here there is no term like distance. Means from this 35 I get this distance or this distance or this distance. wherever it will be always sigma by 2 epsilon 0, right? Wherever I take it, it will be always sigma by 2 epsilon 0. So if there is an infinite size plane which is uniformly charged, okay, at whatever distance you go, the electric field will be equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 0. Okay, now electric field line, due to this, it will be away, okay, and due to this, again away. Clear? In this case, due to this, away from, and due to this, away, right? For this plate, it is in this direction, and for this plate, it is in that direction. But when I take at the center between the two plates, right? For this plate, it is away from positive, so E1, and for this plate, it is away from positive, that is E2. Clear? Now, what is electric field? E1 sigma 1 by 2 epsilon 0, E2 sigma 2 by 2 epsilon 0. So, in this case, the total electric field will be equal to sigma 1 by 2 epsilon 0 plus sigma 2. Both are in same direction. So, it will be sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon 0. In this case, sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon 0. But in this case, it is in opposite direction. So sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon 0. Okay? But now, if sigma 1 equal to sigma 2, means the surface charge density on both the plates are same, then what will happen? This will be equal to 2 sigma by 2 epsilon 0, so sigma by epsilon 0. Same way here also, sigma by epsilon 0. But in the center, sigma minus sigma 0. Okay? Clear? Same thing will be there if both are having negatively charged. Means if two plates are positively charged or negatively charged, means the charge is same, and if they are having the same charge density, then outside the plates it is sigma by epsilon 0, and between the plates it's 0. Okay, but remember, both the plates must have same surface charge density, and both the charges must be same, either positive or negative. Clear? But now, if we take the reverse case, means one positive and another negative. Okay, let's take it. Now, if this was negative charge, then it will be minus sigma 2. Clear? So, again, now see what will happen. Electric field due to 1 will be sigma 1 by 2 epsilon 0, and due to 2 will be minus sigma 2 by epsilon 0. Now, electric field line due to plate 1 away from positive E1. And due to plate 2 towards negative charge E2. In this case, E1 due to this plate away, and due to this plate towards. Clear? And in center, due to positive away, and due to negative towards. Right? So here E1 minus E2. So the electric field in this case will be sigma 1 minus sigma 2 upon epsilon 0. Clear? In this case, sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by epsilon 0. And this case, sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by epsilon 0. Clear? Okay, see here we are only taking magnitude and adding it. The direction is same. Here minus sign is there. That means the direction is opposite. So magnitude wise, if I take this, E1 is sigma 1, E2 is sigma 2 by epsilon 0. Now we are adding direction wise. This is opposite direction, so I subtracted it. This is same direction, so I added it. And opposite direction, so I subtracted it. So now here if sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2, but one is positive, another is negative. This is a capacitor. Okay, you will learn this in chapter number 2. So now see, if both are same, then here the electric field will be equal to 0. Here it will be sigma plus sigma, two, sorry, my mistake. Okay, sigma plus sigma, 2 epsilon 0. So 2 sigma by 2 epsilon 0, sigma by epsilon 0. And here 0. Clear? So if I am taking two plates, one positive charge and another negative charge, and both are having same surface charge density, but one is positive, other is negative, then the electric field outside the plates will be equal to 0, and inside the plates it will be sigma by epsilon 0. Clear? So just go through this. Okay? So the next application, electric field due to spherically charged shell. Okay, so this topic is electric field due to okay, let me change. Uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, now remember here it is shell, so only border. So when I take this, that means only this much part is there. Okay, this is called a shell. Now, spherically charged shell, we are taking that this shell is uniformly charged. Okay, okay, uniformly positively charged shell is that. Let the total charge, okay, total charge on this spherical charge shall be Q. So what I'm doing, मैं ले लेता हूँ total charge Q. Okay. Now there are two cases. One, a point outside the cell, and another, a point inside the cell. So case one, we will take outside cell. Let's take a point P. I need to find out the electric field at this point P. Okay. So now what we will do? We will take a Gaussian surface. So let's take a spherical Gaussian surface at this point. Okay, I have taken a spherical Gaussian surface such that its radius is r. Okay, so now first let's find out the flux, total flux passing through this spherical Gaussian surface. So what we will do for that, first we will select a small area. Okay, we will select a small area. The direction of electric field will be in this way, and the small area dA will be in this way. Okay, you can either take dA, that is small amount of area, or ds. Okay, sometimes in some textbook they are using ds, and in some they are using dA. So I'm using E for electric field and dA for the small amount of area. So now first let's find out the amount of flux through this area. So the amount of flux d phi through that small area will be equal to E dA cos 0. So this will be equal to E dA. Clear? So what is the total flux passing through this small area? E dA. right? So if I want to find out the total flux passing through this whole spherical surface, then it will be integration of d phi, means integration of EdA. E is constant, integration of dA. So integration of dA, the total surface area of a spherical shell, that is 4 pi r square. So that implies flux is equal to E into 4 pi r square. Let's name this equation as 1. Okay. Now, according to Gauss law, flux is equal to Q by epsilon 0. Clear? Flux is equal to Q by epsilon 0. So if I compare 1 and 2, from 1 and 2, E into 4 pi r square equal to Q by epsilon 0. So E is equal to Q upon 4 pi r square epsilon 0. Right? But what is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0? Or I can also write down in this way. This is the formula for electric field for a uniformly charged spherical shell when the point is selected outside the shell. Okay, I can also write it down in this way. 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 kq by r square. So now see here, 1 by 4 pi, sorry my mistake, it's kq by r square. 1 equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square. This is the also the formula for electric field of a point charge, right? Right? So we can consider that when we are taking a point outside the spherical shell, all the charges on the surface of spherical shell are considered to be accumulated at center. Okay, means we can assume that the whole charge we can consider it as a center, and the distance is calculated from center to that point. Okay, so this was about the case 1. When the point is outside the shell, it is kq by r square, or 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square. Now case 2, inside shell. So let's select the point P here, P dash. So now I will need to select a Gaussian surface, right? I need to select the Gaussian surface, right? Select a small amount of area, dA. The electric field at this point will be E. So we'll use the same method. And finally, flux will be equal to E into 4 pi r square, right? So flux will be equal to 4 pi r square. For this also, flux will be equal to E into 4 pi r dash square. This is r dash. Clear? So only radius has been changed. But now, according to Gauss law, flux is equal to 0 because it's q by epsilon 0. And what was q in that formula? The total charge enclosed inside the surface. Now, inside this surface, there is no charge. So it is equal to 0. Clear? So E into 4 pi r square equal to 0 implies electric field equal to 0. Okay? So if you're taking a point inside this spherical shell, then the electric field is 0. And outside it is kq by r square. Okay? I'm repeating the whole topic once again. Okay, so we had to find out the electric field due to uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, we have taken a spherical shell and distributed uniform charge over its surface. The total charge we have taken as Q. Now first, we are taking case 1, that is a point outside the surface. Point P at a distance r from center. Right? So we had selected a Gaussian spherical surface. Clear? Now select a small area element dA. Okay, now in this case, what will happen? The angle between E and dA is 0. So the small amount of flux that will be E dA cos 0, that is E dA. So this was the small amount of flux passing through this area, right? So the total flux, for total flux integration of d phi, integration of EDA, E is constant, right? E will be constant because all the distance from center is same. So integration of dA 4 pi r square. So this was about the flux using the formula E dot A. Clear, 4 pi r square. Now using Gauss law, flux is equal to Q by epsilon 0. So comparing this both equation, we got E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by r square or KQ by r square. Okay, so for a point outside, E equal to KQ by r square. But when you are taking point inside, first there will be same flux equal to E into 4 pi r dash square. Okay, but as there is no charge enclosed inside, the Gauss, according to Gauss law, the flux will be equal to 0. So comparing these two, E into 4 pi r square equal to 0, that implies electric field equal to 0. Means if you are taking a shell, okay, and uniformly distributing a positively charge, then the electric field inside it is equal to 0. And outside, kq by r square, where r is calculated from the center of the cell. Okay, so this was about electric field due to uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, this was the third application of Gauss law. Okay, so just go through this topic. Okay, so this was about chapter one, but one topic was remaining, right? That was about electric field, sorry, dipole. When a dipole is placed in uniform electric field, torque acting on it. We had just missed one topic, so we'll just cover that topic today. Okay, electric dipole in uniform electric field. Okay, so now uniform electric field, this is uniform electric field. The electric field lines are parallel to each other. That means it is uniform electric field. Now let's place a dipole, minus Q charge plus Q charge. Okay, so the formula for force acting in uniform electric field, F is equal to EQ, right? So now here Q is positive. So the direction of F and E will be same. The force acting on this will be F plus. Okay. But in this case, Q is negative. So minus EQ, the direction of force will be opposite. So force acting on negative charge. Clear? Let the distance this be equal to 2a. Okay, now see, force positive acting on this way, negative acting on this way. Both are in opposite direction. Okay, dipole, the magnitude of charges is same. So magnitude of force will be same. Means two equal force but acting in opposite direction. So the net force will be equal to 0. Clear? But the line of action is not same. Now see what is line of action. Now if this is a pen, okay, sorry, this is a pen. Now force F1 acting in this direction, F2 acting in this direction. Okay, same amount of force is acting in both the direction. It will remain at the same position. because the line of action for both the forces same. But if the pen is in this situation, now the line of action for this point will be in this way and for this point will be in this way. So line of action is not same. So what will happen? This pen will rotate, right? So a couple will act, or that you can also say a torque will act. What is a couple? Two forces acting and having same magnitude, acting in opposite direction, but the line of action of force is not same. Okay, so in this case, what will happen? This will rotate. Clear? Okay. So now let's find out the torque acting on this dipole. Clear? So what is the formula for torque? R cross F. Clear? Where what is R? The perpendicular distance between these two forces. So magnitude wise, I can say that R into F. Clear? What is F? EQ, and what is R? This perpendicular distance. When I'm extending this, okay, let's name it as A, B, N. So I'm drawing this triangle, okay, A, B, and N. Clear? So this will be equal to AN, means this distance, this is the perpendicular distance between two line of action of sorry, between the forces acting, okay, line of action of forces, into F. What is F? EQ. Magnitude wise it will be EQ. Clear? Now I want to find out this value of R, AN. Clear? Now see, if this is electric field, this is the electric field direction, and the direction of dipole is this way. So this angle we will take theta. Let the angle between dipole and electric field. Direction of dipole is from negative to positive. So this is the direction of dipole. That's a vector form. Okay. So this angle is theta. Clear? This is theta. This angle will be also theta. Right? See this way. So this is theta. Clear? So if I take sine theta, okay, what will be sine theta? Opposite upon hypotenuse. So what is opposite? R. So that is AN. And what is hypotenuse? This 2A. So AN is equal to 2A sine theta. So this will be 2A sine theta into EQ. Clear? So now what is 2A into Q? 2AQ, that is the formula for dipole moment. So magnitude of torque will be equal to P E sine theta, or else in vector form I can write down P cross E. Okay, clear? So the magnitude of torque acting on a dipole when it is placed in electric field, it is P cross P cross E. So now when theta is equal to 0 degree, right? When theta is 0 degree, in this way means this is the electric field and this is the dipole. So force F1 plus acting in this way, negative in this way, right? So it will not rotate. So torque will be 0. See, P E sine 0. Value of sine 0 is 0. So torque will be equal to 0. Clear? When theta is equal to 90 degree, then torque will be equal to PE, right? Because sine 90 is 1, means in this situation F1 acting in this way, F2 acting in this way, so it will definitely do it. Clear? And when theta is equal to 180 degree, okay, the value of sine 180 again 0, so it is 0. Clear? Okay, so when it is in this condition, torque acting 0. When it is in this condition, torque acting is maximum. Clear? So this was about the torque acting on electric dipole in uniform electric field. I'm repeating once again. We have taken uniform electric field, placed the dipole, making an angle theta with electric field. Okay, the distance between these two charges is 2a. Clear? Force acting F is equal to EQ. So using this formula, direction of positive charge will be in the direction of electric field. The direction of negative charge will be in direction opposite to electric field, right? As both the forces are having different line of action, a couple will act or a torque will act. The formula for torque R cross P, magnitude wise R cross F. Magnitude wise R cross F, R is perpendicular distance between the two line of action of force. So this R AN, a formula for F E Q magnitude wise. So what is AN? In this triangle I am putting sin theta AN by 2A. So AN is equal to 2A sin theta. So 2A sin theta EQ. Now 2AQ, that is the dipole moment P. So P E sin theta in vector from P cross E. Right? If angle is 0, torque is 0. If angle is 90-degree, torque will be equal to PE, means that is maximum. Okay? So now just go through this topic. Okay? Now some cases related to such type of some can be asked, like if there is a point charge. Clear? If there is a point charge, so this will be its electric field. Now, what will happen if a dipole is placed? Okay, randomly means a dipole is placed minus q plus q. Okay, in a non-uniform electric, this is a non-uniform electric field. Now, will the force act on it or torque act on it or both? So, in this case, what happened? Due to positive charge, F1 will be F plus will be in this way, and negative charge F minus will be in this way. So see what will happen. One charge is in that way, one charge is in this way. Now the forces, sorry, force. The forces are not in exactly opposite direction. So the force acting will not be equal to 0. Okay? And also it will rotate. Right? Clear? Also it will rotate. So torque will also act on it. Clear? Now, if I am placing this torque in this way, sorry, this dipole, minus q plus q. Now, if this situation is given, okay, I'm writing it below, minus q plus q. Now, see, if this situation is given, then what will happen? Right? The force acting on this will be F plus positive, 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 and negative will be F minus. Clear? Now the line of action of force is same. So what will happen? Will the force be equal to 0 or not? It will not be equal to 0. Reason, this charge is closer. So Fk Q1 Q2 by R square, this will be higher and this force will be lower. So what will happen? This dipole will move in this way because this attractive force is higher than this repulsive force because this charge is at closer distance compared to this. So remember, in this case, the force acting is not equal to 0. Clear? Now, what will you say about torque? See, what we had discussed, it will move in same way. So this will be linear. Okay, it will not rotate. So in this case, the torque acting will be equal to 0, but the force acting will not be equal to 0. Okay, but if it is uniform electric field, then the force acting will be zero, but torque will not be equal to zero. Okay, so this was about the electric dipole placed in electric field. Okay, so we had completed this chapter, we had completed all the applications of Gauss law. Clear? So theoretical wise, descriptive wise, we had completed this chapter. Okay, so for today, that's it. Clear? Now, in our next video, we will see with the exercise numericals as well as the illustrations given in the textbook. Okay, so till then, thank you.